I'm Dave Taylor, I'm the marketing manager here at City Screen. I've always had a bit of a thing about people getting the apostrophe wrong, and it's really quite a simple thing, and I don't understand why British people are so poor at getting the apostrophe in the right position. This is one I prepared earlier. This is the Kids Club brochure that we do for City Screen, and you can see there that the apostrophe is after the S in kids because there's more than one kid, so it's Kids Club with the apostrophe after the S, and we've done that, we've got it right. So imagine my unhappiness with our head office when they produce another leaflet. This is one for students, it's a free club for students. There's more than one student, and yet there's no apostrophe at all. They haven't even got the apostrophe in the wrong place. They haven't got the apostrophe before the S, which would be wrong, but at
You
least
might think that Dave Taylor is being pedantic.
This one, they've missed the apostrophe out altogether.
Most
And you
people
think,
would probably
what's wrong
agree
with
that
these
Dave
people?
Taylor is being
Are
pedantic.
students not worthy of getting the apostrophe issue
Strange as it
correct
might
and getting the
seem,
apostrophe
Dave
in
is
the right
speaking on the
place?
behalf
What
of a
does it matter?
significant minority.
So I played hell with my head office.
There
and
exists
said,
a relative handful of people to whom spelling, grammar, and punctuation are crucially important things. Apostrophe misuse is everywhere. It bothers them. York-based milkshake merchant Charlie Deacon is another victim of apostrophe abuse in the workplace.
You know, you see apostrophes where they shouldn't be, certainly very much in the fast food marketplace. And also there's a lot of Americanism, you know, creeping into English grammar, if you like. I mean, the misspelling, well, not the misspelling, but the American spelling of words such as centre or license. You know, I mean, we don't have an S in license. So I don't know how this has happened. But I suppose in many ways, if you look at the international market, then, you know, we're bound to have words that transport across boundaries.
How do you feel about the logo?
In what way?
The presence of apostrophes?
Right, okay. Well, I must admit that because it is a franchise, I actually have had no sort of input into that. And I feel disappointed because I have a view on grammar that we have to, you know, use apostrophes in the middle of a name when really they're not appropriate. I've actually done a bit of research on this and had a word with the franchisor, and I think most of this is down to the actual sign and print makers. Whether or not they use the apostrophe to balance both sides of the word shakeaholic, bearing in mind that shake and holic have 5 letters in each part of it, if you like. So whether they've used that to emphasise the A in the middle, I'm not sure, and nobody will admit to. But at the end of the day, it's still totally incorrect.
There's actually something controversial we've got here, this what's your flavour thing.
I'm going to do something about that because I agree it is wrong, and how can I stand here in, you know, self-righteousness and say that it isn't? So watch this space.
Charlie's suggestion that the responsibility was in the hands of the people who actually made the signs opened up a new line of inquiry. We went to the architect shop, York's leading design and print bureau, and spoke to resident printer Andy Harrison to investigate the establishment's literary standards. Does the architect shop have a proofreading department of any kind?
It does me. Of one, yeah, I do the proofreading. If somebody had done their own artwork and supplied it to us, if I spotted it, I'd mention it. I wouldn't correct it. I'd mention it to the client. I wouldn't proofread it. I'd mention to them. I'd say there's a fault in your artwork. You know, do you want me to pass it across to one of the designers, or do you want me to alter it, or do you want to alter it yourself and resupply it? If they were supplying us the artwork. If the artwork's done here by us, we're responsible for it. I do it to certain degrees. If we've got a regular customer, I'd look over it with a little bit of a keener eye than if it was somebody who'd walked in. If I spotted it, I'd still mention it to somebody. I'd never print anything knowingly wrong. I mean, that's just a little bit mean, really.
Andy's personal efforts to avoid errors were reassuring, but the fact that his service seemed to be an added extra rather than just standard practice hinted at a problem on a larger scale. Without any kinds of English qualifications required to work in places like the architect's shop, any number of mistakes could be made by sign printing establishments. And have. Apostrophe misuse on the street is one thing, but it's when it's found in a place of education that it seems all hope may be lost. Regrettably, apostrophe misuse is rampant in York St John University, especially in its students' union, and cripplingly so in student-produced publication The Messenger. We spoke to 3 of the paper's writers to find out more.
My name is Josh Mills and I'm political correspondent for The Messenger.
My name is Thomas Hurst and I'm just a general writer kind of guy.
I'm Jack Abbott and my technical role, I think, is music correspondent for The Messenger.
Why's that funny?
Because I know nothing about music. The main issue with The Messenger is that I think it's got potential to be a good paper, but I just don't think enough people care about it.
It has potential that it's not living up to. It needs a rethink, is what I'd say.
I would say the paper in general, Alex Wilkie, is on the whole a semi-high quality publication. However, there are some discrepancies in the articles which are appalling.
There's more than an acceptable number of errors, especially in the first issue. It's got less bad since the first one, where there were some 70 odd errors.
I don't think they know a full stop from a comma. You know? Semicolon, don't get them started. They don't know.
I believe there's one on the inside cover this month. A quite simple one. A missing apostrophe, and yeah, I won't stand for it.
You won't stand for it?
Well, I probably will.
I remember the editor said something about the spelling in the paper. She wanted to make a competition saying a reader of The Messenger can flick through and they can email in with the spelling errors. And I thought that was the dumbest thing.
That was something the editor suggested after the first issue, which I think most people agreed was stupid.
Anyone who looks through the paper and sees a competition to spot the spelling errors is immediately going to think this person can't be bothered to proofread.
What was the proofreading process?
I don't know what it is. It seems to be not proofread. It seems to be get the article, publish it immediately, you know. Coming guns blazing, not care.
Add mistakes to...
It would seem add mistakes, yes.
There's just a series of minor blunders which add up to a fairly shoddy publication.
I did an article about sleeping, and Garfield was placed above the article. And in a little speech bubble was not a Z, but an S. S doesn't make sense. S for sleep, maybe. But why would you be saying S? And he's saying it, he's not thinking it, and he's asleep in the picture. They didn't know what they were doing, I don't think.